In this video, I'm going to talk about the epidemic of AI Gooner material that's showing up on proxies and playmats across the internet. I wanted to open this video by saying playmat, but I'm not sure if that needs to be censored within the first 60 seconds of the video. So to try and not get demonetized, even though I'm pretty sure this video is, we need a countdown in the corner. The Venn diagram of weeaboo and gooner is a circle. It's a gaping circle being pulled open by the two hands of an old man. Yes, I'm referring to Goatsy, and no, I can't show that to your virgin YouTube viewer eyes. Do not Google it. If you haven't been on the internet a long time, how can I explain Goatsy? Can I even say Goatsy in the first 60 seconds? I assume I can. Imagine being Rick Roll, but it's a gaping asshole. The time is almost over, I think. I'm gonna have to censor this video a lot. In which case, I might as well mention Tub Girl as well. Don't Google that either. Anyway, what were we talking about? Oh yes, card game gooning. In the past, the one thing that was the most shameful part of the Magic community, I would say, it was the anime de-alters. By that, I mention a basic land or some other card that has been painted onto with someone who's actually got some skill to render a anime girl with her tits out or bulging out onto that card. In my entire time of playing Magic the Gathering, I've only ever come across this less than a handful of times. 3 that I can think of. The one that really springs to mind was years ago at a GP in Europe. I was playing a side event with somebody, and one of their modern lands had a bikini-clad anime girl painted on it.
Ugh. Brother, ugh. What's that? What's that, brother?
I didn't understand why, and it was really distracting. In this video, I want to look at how it's getting worse, and it's primarily because of AI. The AI revolution has brought with it a lot of people who have been brought up just wanking themselves silly on pornography. A lot of it is trained on the images that they love, which tends to be gratuitously self-serving, male gaze porn stuff. Look, I'm a sex-positive person. I don't even know if I can say porn yet. Has the countdown finished? I don't know. I'm in the video right now recording. The editing bay will fix that. Look, I'm a sex-positive person for the most part. You can wank yourself silly to whatever you really want in your private life in your home, as long as it isn't harmful or at the expense of others. Pornography or cornography, if we're not out of the first 60 seconds of the video, this joke will finish soon because I'm obviously clearly out of it by now. Pornography obviously has its downsides, but on the whole, I'm pro-porn. But the difference with pornography is you usually don't take it out of your home and slap it on a gaming table at your local game store. And the old version of this was kind of expensive. Getting someone who could actually draw and paint to paint some titties on your mountains and your forests was an expensive, go out of your way thing. But with the emergence of AI art that can slap any old fucking thing on a proxy now, we're getting more of it. Let's have a look at all of that and more in today's video. In the meantime, if you're buying real Magic cards without tits on them, you can buy them from coolstuffinc.com in the North Americas, and that will allow you to use the code Kenobi at checkout to get 5% off your order, and it helps to support the show. Alternatively, if you're from the old world and not just England where we eat only beige food, you can go to magicmadhouse.co.uk to get your Magic cards. Use the code on screen right now to get 5% off your order, and it helps to support the show. Let's look a bit more at the gooner mats that I'm talking about. So where do I begin? There's so much of this stuff, and the main culprit is fucking Etsy. Let's talk about the stuff I don't know if it's AI. Little Subspace here has a artistic rendering of Liliana with her baps out, as well as a playmat that I'm not going to show that's called Reluctantly Joined, which has 2 girls arse to arse tied together, and the word reluctant makes me think it's a bit grapey. However, most of the stuff this user's putting out is not necessarily AI generated. This one, for example, that is called something like Sexy Tieflings, has what's that, 6 girls all getting ready to sit down and have a nice relaxed meal, and they're all completely naked. This is hitting all bases. We've got a girl with the Magic the Gathering Planeswalker logo tattooed over her belly button, another one with the Rakdos symbol on her chest that you can't see here because my censorship heads are in the way. Meanwhile, the girl at the front appears to be a night elf from World of Warcraft / Warcraft 3 / Hearthstone. That's right, it's helping gooners across the spectrum. The other interesting thing about Little Subspace on Etsy is that they are the only one who is really serving cunt. I don't mean that in attitude. I mean the fact that their playmats have flaps and spread vagina all over them. Okay, spread's a little far. I didn't find one where they were full on like pulling it apart. But in this case, it's just a girl led down on her and she's plump. I can't show you much more. My head has to obscure this. I can't show any of this shit on YouTube. But at least these things look to be drawn. Whether or not they're stolen art assets, I don't know, because the artist isn't credited in the description, nor on the playmat itself. And that's the first issue with some of this stuff. Beyond the whole, like, you know, bringing your wanking materials to your local store door in front of people who aren't fucking complicit in this wanking, including perhaps even children, which is pretty fucking grim. The other things that others are assets, are they stolen? Well, the vast majority of the ones we're about to look at probably are. More on that in a second. But to further the point about masturbatory aids that you should not be dusting the crusty sprinkles off of in your local game store, you can goon at home. You can tickle your pickle in your own private fucking abode. As my old man used to say, you wouldn't wank on a bus. Imagine watching pornography next to someone else's nan on public transport. And that begs the very important question, what's worse, watching pornography with your own nan or someone else's nan? Tell me in the comment section below. This might be the worst / weirdest fucking engagement bait I've ever done. Welcome to the PleasantKenobi YouTube channel. And if you want to directly support what I do, including videos about gooning, you can via patreon.com, or if you don't want to sign up to Patreon because of reasons, you can use the membership system down below to sign up to support the channel. The middle tier, the Flickerwisp tier on memberships, will get you access to my Discord server if you link your YouTube and your Discord. So you can come on my Discord server where I will probably call you a twat. Sign up for around the price of a coffee and it helps support the show more than any advertising monetized views ever would. So are people getting a kick out of this shit? Are they actually shuffling their jimmies to it? And if so, why the fuck are they taking it out of their home? We can meditate on that more in a moment. I've got some more crap to show you. This one, this playmat on Etsy, I'm not gonna show you the full one because I don't want to edit another clunge out. I've edited a lot of clunge out for these videos, but this one happily has this shot here. This is not edited by me or zoomed in by me. This is one of the product photos. A nice zoomed in shot of a dripping heel. You fucking perverts. This is so funny. What the fuck is going on? But it's not just playmats, kids. It's proxies and tokens too. How about a token from one of these many wonderful, completely real ladies with their tits out? This one here is a blood token. You know, the token that's meant to signify the blood drained from a victim of vampirism and put into a vial for later consumption. One that brings both the life essence and knowledge of the person it's drained from, and thus allows you to discard a card and draw a card. And in this case, it's represented by a redhead wearing a crown, which makes me think this is originally a monarch token they've repurposed. And this card is obviously made with AI art, but don't worry, they've censored the nipples and the vag in one of the promo shots, but not in all of them. If you want to see full-on AI-generated nipple on a blood token, they're all over Etsy. There's so many fucking nipples. There's more nipples than you can shake your dick at. How about a clue token? The only thing that suggests clue about this image is just how pointy her nipples are when you see it uncensored. They're like pointing directly to magnetic north or something. This is memory-based investigation. Detective Areola reporting for duty. But I can't show you those nipples. How about some very obviously AI islands just covered in humongous tits and just fucking... There's something about the AI Gooner porn shit. The harsh shadows, the way the lighting hits them from like the front, even though the sun is at the back and something like that. That gives them this weird, shiny, bulbous glossiness that you notice in a lot of this shit. Something that I haven't really thought too much about until I started really looking into this. I think I need some fucking eye bleach after this, or maybe a good wank. Only joking, I'm wanking right now. The act of uploading to YouTube and talking to the camera is pretty self-masturbatory. Or how about some tokens that completely forego the idea of copyright or IP infringement? Right here we've got the lady who breathes through her skin from Metal Gear Solid, we've got Jinx from the hit anime show Arcane, and we've got the arse cheeks of Cammy from Street Fighter. And the funny thing about the Street Fighter one is that it's not even really that different to what she actually looks like in the game. Also, there appears to be a Space Marine / pin-up model. I wonder what the prompt for this was, like Space Marines but with massive gazonkazonks. And before we move on from tokens, we do need to talk quickly about Amazon, because although most of the stuff that I'm showing you is available on Etsy.com, there is a load of shit on Amazon too, coming from second-party sellers. So, for example, we have a copy token that is just two lusty nymphos rubbing their meat mounds together. How about a food token where we pour ketchup on a naked woman who's sat on top of the original art for the food token? This sapling token is just a woman wearing nothing but panties, straddling what I assume is a ball of cotton. This tastefully nude elk, and I use the word tastefully completely incorrectly. This tasteful elk token's only available for £4 and a penny on Amazon.com. And props to them. This one, this underboob waifu style clue token, at least has an inkling of the clue thing going on, right? At least they're a detective. Better than the AI stuff we saw over on Etsy. And one of the other common things that I didn't want to go too heavily into this video because I can't say for certain, but a lot of this stuff appears to be very badly shopped or stolen art from animes and other, I'm going to say it, probably hentai, I'd imagine some of this shit. But anyway, it's all like assets that aren't owned by the original artist, so it's stolen. And then when we get to the AI stuff, well, of course, AI art is majority theft, right? It's stuff that's just trained on other people's works. In this case, a lot of porn. I'll be real, I am making an assumption here. There is a chance that with some of these providers, well, there is a high chance that some of these providers of sexy tokens and sexy proxies and sexy playmats are doing their own art. And that, I think, is actually admirable if it's only being used at home. I have nothing wrong with people creating erotic art for others to consume, use, and rub their genitals to. The problem I have is when it's stolen art assets, which there's a significant chance quite a few of these are, if we're honest, especially when it comes to the AI shit, and also when it's being taken out of the home and used in a public space. A further testament to the fact that I don't think that a lot of these users that are doing this stuff really give too much of a shit. The tokens we're seeing on Amazon are actually from a provider who's selling proxies through Amazon too, using the copyrighted, trademarked Wizards of the Coast logos and shit. Look, I'm not a narc, I'm not a cop or whatever, but I just think you might be playing with fire when this is the company that sent the Pinkertons after someone who opened a box early. I would be a lot more careful than shifting fucking copyright infringing proxies on Amazon. That's probably a bad spot to be in. Anyway, that's tokens and lands, and what if you don't want to spend too much money on the staples of your commander deck? Here we have the Scarab God, the famous insectoid deity, but instead of an insectoid deity, it's a thick lady bent over, and I can't show you what's beneath the heart. You can basically see what she had for dinner. On the upside here, at least this proxy artist, I'm going to use the term loosely here, but at least they're not using the actual images for the mana symbols, although that water drop it might as well be. Parallel lives, more like parallel arse cheeks, am I right? This one was self-centered by the user Joyce DSP. This is an artistic rendering of a soul ring, which you might think is clever, because I assume they're referring to her arsehole. Here's another soul ring from the same creator. I've cropped this one, just because I think it's funnier when I crop it. For just £7 English, you can have a foil copy of Atraxa Praetor's voice, but instead, the mana symbols look gratuitously different, and it's not even Atraxa in the art. Instead, it's Elishnorn, and she's naked, and you can see her arse crack and potentially a little bit of arsehole too, when it's not censored. The same user is a fucking coward. Instead of making Shield would actually have a wormussie with a worm/snake millipede body, which you could look at the vagina of, instead they've made them fully anthropomorphically human, which I think is a shame, really. We're really missing out on some serious body horror with a Spidussie. Somebody's got to be into that somewhere. But there is a small chance that the Shieldred and the Atraxa/Elishnorn and stuff are real art. Someone's painted these. Even if it is for the benefit of someone to have a wank over some magic cards, it still looks like it might be real, but I don't think it is. I'm not 100% sure. But then we come to the tour de force. If anything, my favorite, for lack of a better term. Oh god, this one's good. Introducing Angel of Feet by artificialtutor.etsy.com. I'm pretty sure the artificial in the name there gives away what they're up to. Yep, I've censored this. The little mana symbol that's covering her snatch is their option. I think there's a coin on top of it or something. Not mine. You can see where I've added my censorship. The really funny thing is like the feet being the focus, and then just calling it Angel of Feet. I can't tell if that's fucking genius, because that's like the naming convention we would have got for a card that was in a set where feet was the mechanic, or whether it's just so fucking stupid they've accented into quite a good joke. For the most part, this user's stuff isn't actually as like full frontal nudity as some of the other stuff we've shown. It's not quite sexy dark magician girl trading card game playmat free best tube. This one has bulbous huge tits and a very tight fucking oh my goodness, a very tight piece of clothing. I'm obviously censoring it because it looks like a Christmas ham wrapped in spandex. But Artificial Tutor isn't as gratuitously, well, I don't know, fucking tight pusses in spandex, but it is obviously AI shite. This one here is a power suit space marine lady for some sort of fantasy. Jacked Rabbit is quite literally the magic card Jacked Rabbit, but fed through some AI prompt to make your least favorite uncle horny. And you wonder why you aren't invited to family weddings anymore, James. No staple is safe. Orcish Bowmaster has sexy AI shiny man and sexy AI shiny lady. Do you know what I mean about the shininess of skin in these things? In the ones that I think are AI? Yeah. How about Damnation, but with more naked women in it? That's right. That is just a whole ton of women with their tits out getting sucked into the famous like black vortex of damnation. In some ways, I'll be honest, this is inspired, even if it's obviously, I don't know. Does someone want to wank over a damnation? I don't really get it. Oathsworn Giant. This is definitely someone's fetish, so I completely understand who they're serving here. Again, though, it does look like gratuitous AI art. Another one, we got Tower Titan, which is a homage to Towering Titan, which I'm pretty sure, again, is someone's fetish. But this time round, we've got more bare tits. I'm covering up the tits and the crease here, the crevasse, that is, with, you know, showing off with some very tight panties. The muscles all look gratuitously AI generated. At least the hands are working. Maybe there's some photoshopping artistry going into making those hands work. Maybe in your childhood you just looked at the prodigal sorcerer, the famous Tim, and thought, I just don't think he's wank fodder enough. Well, don't worry, Etsy's got you covered. Here's a much more wanktastic Tim. And finally, there's the Dynamo, or the Dynamo 1. Now look, I don't know what's going on with this, but because I've poisoned myself for several hours looking at this shit, I'm just assuming this is some sort of love egg or butt plug. Perhaps a sex toy. For scale, we can see a little people next to it, but maybe a sex toy for one of the towering giant fetishist things. Is that what this is? Is there a version of this I can get with dripping goo on it to be more suggestive? The answer to that question is probably yes, because if we look at their banner, you want a mythic turned into a rare? You can add a bra, for example. Do you want a rare to be a mythic? More nudity? Write me. No extra cost. Spice up your table with our very special playmats. And the angel in the background on the actual banner is the most gratuitously AI of all the images we've seen so far, with a lot of filigree that, you know, it smacks of the AI filters that you see. Maybe I'm being too harsh to this Etsy user. Maybe I'm driving traffic towards them to buy stuff. I don't really care. I just thought this was really fucking funny. Like, it's so funny that like the gratuitous like self-masturbatory stuff that makes you uncomfortable when someone pulls it out at a game store opposite you, there's more of it than there ever has been. Because it's never been so easy to create weird, glossy tit monsters via AI. Ultimately, if you want to buy any of this stuff or own any of this stuff, I don't judge you for that per se. Well, maybe a small amount, but that's just naturally what happens when people start talking about, you know, their own sexual fantasies, whether that be a towering monster putting an Urz's egg up their ass or angel of feet. Ultimately, that's up to you and I don't fucking care. The weirdness about this stuff is when it shows up at shops. And again, I've played a lot of Magic over the years, like a fucking lot of Magic in different countries, conventions, game stores, and I've seen this sort of thing on 3 occasions. One more recently where the entire deck was like printed anime girls and some of it was a little bit suggestive, and the person who owned it was showing me before we started playing saying, do you mind playing against this? And I was sort of like shaking my head like, I guess if you really want to, but there are kids in the shop. How bad does it get? Could you perhaps just fucking play something else and not be weird about it? I know for a fact that Konami have an official rules thing that you can only play official Konami stuff on streams just to avoid any of this stuff, even the slightly more risque things. And this is not unique to Magic, by the way. I'd say actually it's rather exclusive to Magic and Yu-Gi-Oh! I haven't seen any Pokemon sexy playmats, but I've never Googled Vaporeon fetish playmat before, and I'm scared to do so now. I hope you've enjoyed the plump Christmas hams, the shiny rotund buttocks and asses of AI ladies, if you can see them through my censorship, and all that plump puss. Let me know what you think in the comment section below with this stuff, and if you want to support the channel, there's links below to the sponsors, and join as a member and join my Discord, where I'm sure they'll be talking about this shit for the next couple of days. I've been Vince, also known as PleasantKenobi on the internet. Keep your masturbatory aids at home, and I'll see you in the next one. Ta-ta for now.